gives me great honor to be able to introduce our guest. I'd like to begin the introduction with a quote from her book, Voices of the Heart. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who eat from her fruit. Wisdom gives long, good life, riches, honor, pleasure, and peace. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you a wise woman whose wisdom helped guide my life. Doris Eakes.
Okay, when they called me and asked me to come over, I surely didn't expect this. But then you guys, since I've been involved since 2000, I've had quite a few experiences and surprises. Of course, I got the first surprise, didn't I, Eric?
Yes.
In 2000, I decided it was time to give back some of the resources that God had placed in my life. So I sat down with my accountant and we came up with a charitable remainder trust, and then I thought, okay, I've got to figure out where I wanted to go. So one day a friend of mine that grew up with Dr. McKeithen said, well, come on and let's go meet Dr. McKeithen. And that was the first surprise, right?
It was.
And from then on, it has been just a pleasure to be associated with Cape Fear Community College. It seems like years ago since 2000, and I came up with, in 2005, on doing a charitable organization called Trinity Children. And I had been working on a book that I started in 1996. And then the storm came and knocked me out of my house, so I couldn't find a comfortable place to write it. And I finally found someone that would help me in California, so I took a vacation for a week, went out to California, and worked on that book. And then I said, well, okay, I've got to have some way to support this Trinity Children. So I went by and and I had written over time poems. The first one I wrote was to enter a contest. I had come back from a trip, and there was an ad in the paper in my foyer that said, you can win $3,000 to write a poem. And I'd never written a poem in my life, and I thought, I can do that. So about 45 minutes later, I had written Ode to God's Sea. And they just kept coming. And so I thought, well, that was a gift that was given to me, so I needed to share that. So I said, okay, I need to do a poem book. And then I went and took different parts of the big book that hadn't been published yet, which is the Numbered Sands of Time, that I still, when I get time, I may have it published, I don't know. But anyway, I decided to I know that different people have experiences, and in my heart I know that a lot of people have experiences that is not quite explainable. And I thought it might be interesting to just take those little parts of my life and share it. And that I came up with pulling together whispered messages, and then on these books I give 40% of the sale price to Trinity. And it was fun putting it together and walking into another area that I knew nothing about. And then I said, okay, if I want people to talk about things that is unexplainable that has come in their life, because so many people I feel that I have met, well, you know, everybody will think I'm crazy. Well, I knew everybody was going to think I was crazy, but something in me said, you got to tell them anyway. So that's what happened. And I'm not a very good reader, but over time, I used to be, before I got involved with Cape Fear Community College and trying to be a nicer person, I had this little thing, if somebody did something nasty to me, I want to pay them back in spades. And very angry after my husband died because life just wasn't fun for a long span of time there. And let's see. I found in the Bible this little message that said, "Don't take it upon yourself to right a wrong, let God." Well, I blew that up like this and put it on my calendar so I saw it every day. And at some point in time, I don't see the date, 98 I guess it was, I wrote this poem, Angry Words. Angry words, how in time, angry words flow from a disquieted soul. Just to stop the angry words, how happy one could be. If in the heat of a disagreement, one could take a breather, how quiet the coming hours would be. No wrestling with what ifs, no second guessing the damage one had caused in the soul of a friend or a loved one. Words never to be retrieved, once released from angry lips. Maybe on the surface the pain doesn't show, but can one be sure one will not have to revisit those words again as they smolder deep within the offended soul? Once those angry words are flaunted, it's hard to rebuild that offended friendship. The anger and hurt can shut one out like steel. Then when great, long-shared love is blessed to rebuild, the relationship can never be new again. There to remain a thin, broken line etched in time, some may have to search close to find it and pray no storm cracks it. Oh, to ask God's blessing of wisdom to calm the temper and quiet the angry cutting words, to release the great knowledge that anger causes mistakes in every walk of life. When the mind and soul is settled in peace and love, God's wisdom rushes in to silence the angry words. A clear mind filled with love, peace, and joy is ours in prayer to receive. So that came around in 98 while I was struggling with anger. So I've been there, done that. So, and most of these, graduating up until into 2002, I wrote "Whisper Your Wish to the Wind." And I'm hoping at some point in time that will become a song, because it's in my head going, whisper your wish to the wind, my friend. It's the breath of God you'll be speaking. He's walking quietly beside you, my friend, awaiting your prayer to receive. And of course there's that keeps going after each verse. That's about all I know to say. The books was a joy to do, and I hope that everybody that has had odd and unexplainable events that happen, maybe your English class could come up with this, because I have put a contest online. That first prize is, I think, $2,500, and the second prize is $1,000, I believe. 500 for the last. I'm not sure on those figures. But it's in hope of getting people to get in touch with their inner being.
What's the
Thank you all.
What's the online address, Doris?
The one for this, where the contest is www.whisperedmessages.com. And when I bought the domain for this one, the poems, I learned in New York that if you want a name, there was a man there that his name was Douglas Smith or something, and when he went to buy douglassmith.com, it had been used. So the instructor said, well, did you try to put the in front of it? So this one is the Voices of the Heart.com. And you can buy the books online. Of course, I've got a lot of them at Curie Beach if you decide you want a copy to share with a friend or what have you. So, thank you.
Thank you.